So what book are you reading?
I'm not reading any book. I'm looking at the pictures. And it's a bit of an addiction. Buying books. Getting books. Picture books. Having pictures. Owning pictures. Wanting pictures. Making pictures. Is that an addiction?
Why do you call yourself a picture maker?
I don't really believe in art. But I do. Of course I do believe in art, but I'm not sure it exists. Like artists, sometimes I find it's a bit tricky when someone is an artist and therefore everything they do is art. Like, really? Pictures is deliciously open. So that's why I'd say I'm a picture maker and not an artist, which is a much more complicated word in our culture, maybe. For me. I think I have lots of thoughts and dreams, and maybe I file them into different selves. I used to make pictures under a bloke called Christopher Wonka. You know Christopher Wanker, the fantasy banker, the Christopher Walkerloo. There was Christopher War and Peace. He was a bloke who sent an army of toy soldiers into Russia. Also, I was making kids' pictures, and some of my pictures aren't for kids, so it's quite nice if I can have different identities. You know, so being called Myth Self and kind of pulling that out, again, helps me. The word Myth Self came to me when I started realising I was a bit different in different contexts. Like my behaviour, you know, your confidences, all of these things change in different environments. And so Myth Self was somehow a way of understanding that each of those persons has a different story behind them. The Christopher Wanker came about by this idea of being able to, you're really going to make a picture and put it on a wall and think it's important enough for people to see? Fuck that, that's wank. Sometimes when you look at big artists, you know, like there's those big Picassos, and I was thinking about this yesterday. You know, you've got to take yourself seriously if you're going to stand in front of a blank canvas and say this is art. Because if you just go, this is art, you know, and everybody's going to go, yeah, you know, we're all going to be laughing at it. So it is, you know, but this is why I haven't got the confidence to kind of go, this is art and I'm an artist because I've made, you know, this serious work here. My name's Christopher Lloyd Walker. I live in France. I make pictures. I make pictures under the name Myth Self. That's my TH self. Sometimes those pictures are in paint, like this one. Sometimes they're in video. Sometimes they're in other media. And the myth of self. I think it's a word that I like because it's like, I'm Chris here, and I'll answer to Chris, and that's me. But when I write that on a picture, it's still part of me, but it's not that same part of me. So maybe that's why I quite like this idea of myth self, and I can, it's the bit of me that's no longer attached to me, and maybe there isn't me, and it's, blah, blah, blah.